Some coaches, fans, swimmers are over the moon about the inclusion of the 50 back, 50 breast, and 50 fly in the Olympic program. Well, Michael Phelps said that reminds him of summer league. One of the big downsides is to doing the 50s and all the strokes in the Olympics is mentioned within scientific quarters. Dr. G spoke of us in podcast number 23. We really need to be able to have an aerobic base created with our kids in ages 11, 12, 13. And if they're specializing in the 50 free at that age, we're probably going to slide backwards as far as their capacity and their ceiling for progress in the years to come. Coming LA28, there'll be a 50 fly, 50 back, 50 breast. So they expanded the swim program. It's just only a matter of time before that was going to happen because, number one, it's in the World Championships. However, there's going to be some other issues related to the number of people on the Olympic team. But I would have done things much differently. I think it would be fabulous to have a pentathlon race, have the same person swim all the 50s, 50 fly, 50 back, 50 breast, 50 free. That's 4 events. And then I would do a 5th event, an underwater, take about 18, 20 seconds. And then we would be able to get to know the athletes as they progress through the 4 or 5 different events.
You know, I laugh. I had a conversation yesterday with one of my lifeguards. My kids were like unbelievably swimming fast with power and racing, right? And I just said to her, I said, you know what? It would be just amazing if I could like package that power and that effort and plunk it somewhere. And, you know, she's a nice kid. And she says, wouldn't it be amazing? I said, yeah, but, you know, like in the UK, if you look at the UK and their power, they got power for nuclear. They got power, a few coal, but very few left, right? They got power that comes from rivers, right? Going one way when it goes tidal and going the other way when it's going back out, right? They got power coming from wind turbines out in the sea. They got power coming from the sea with waves, right? So it's all out there, right? It's all out there totally. It's just that I think a lot of our architects and engineers here, the big discussion with Murta is that the architects just want a big, nice building that they can sell for a fortune. And nobody's thinking about how do you recycle a pool? Nobody. And that issue is, I think, prominent. And you're going, yeah, well, you can shut it down and you can save 400,000. But what happens to the kids in the neighborhood? What happens to this in the neighborhood? There is a price on that. And we all know what that price is, right? We can say death is the ultimate price, but it's not that. It's about they get into trouble. They can't swim, so they can't do all these other things, right? There's no rehab. So the guy that's coming with his knees and he needs to go somewhere doesn't have to go anywhere. Now he's got to go to a private club. It's all a cost. But if we started, hey, let's bring in all the guys that supply pool covers in the US and go, what are you working on, right?
Right.
What are you working on? What's the savings? Because we'd like to tell our wider membership what the savings are. You guys can all contact us individually. What do you think you could offer if we could bring a pile of people to the table?
Right.
And then all those school pools that keep closing down, you're going, hey, you willing to lease that pool for $1 a year?
Hey everyone, welcome back to Heavy or Not. Let's take a moment to hit pause just for a second and celebrate the 24th episodes. A quick walk down memory lane is expected every dozen episodes as a way for housekeeping and a call to look at the backlist as these are evergreen episodes. We call the offerings jump cuts as the long-term aim is for a TV show. When Heavy or Not, the OG swim guide, launched, the idea was simple. Create a space where we could talk openly about the real weight and the surprising lightness of coaching, swimming, sports, technology, AI, and community leadership. We've had some incredible lessons and stories so far as we strive to find our voice. If you're just joining us, or if you've been swimming alongside us since the beginning, Here's a quick dive into what we've built so far. We've tackled everything from how technology is reshaping the way we coach and communicate, to the challenges that come with running swim programs today, to deeper conversations about resilience, innovation, and what it really means to lead, both on deck and beyond. We shy away from interviews but aim at making you think, smile, and maybe even rethink how you approach your work, your team, and your community. Some episodes were heavier, digging into the big, sometimes uncomfortable stuff. Others, lighter, a reminder that joy and curiosity fuel everything worth doing. We're just getting warmed up. If you haven't yet, you can catch up on all 24 episodes on our website at hon.lap.red. Here's a rundown of the first episodes of Heavy or Not with 24 jump cuts so far. Every single one of them carries a piece of the bigger story we're trying to tell. So let's do a quick lap through all of them. In episode 1, we kick things off with a big question. How do you even begin building an aquatic program from the ground up? Especially when the odds, and sometimes the pool walls, are stacked against you. That set the tone. Real stories, real challenges. Episode 2 explored some of the nuts and bolts of swimming, the kicking, plus water safety at the front lines. Not just the need for lessons, but how to build systems that actually protect lives. In episode 3, we made a first splash with AI and an evaluation of what's up with that. Let's figure out how small, local programs can punch way above their weight when it comes to making a difference. In episode 4, we got a hype local and talked about access to public swim pools and P classes for a new school administrator in Pittsburgh. Episode 5 shifted gears to a report from the European Championships from American coaches who went to spy. They came back with a report worth reflecting upon. Episode 6, that was about how you work and how you play. Plus, who do you listen to? Then in episode 7, we put a spotlight on kids. How youth swimming is about way more than medals. It's about resilience, community, and learning how to dream bigger. But what age do the kids start lifting weights? Episode 8 zoomed way out into a recap of the Steve Friederang magazine. Competitive Swimmer episode 9 gave a peek into the book, reading from the book of Coach Mark. More on this in the weeks to come. Episode 10 was a redress of a film, a swim lesson, and what to avoid. Episode 11 has one of the first conversations with Barry Healey of BC. Not everyone sees it the same. A little more mental, mindful swimming, how tuning into your mind can make you stronger, faster, and happier in the water. Episode 12 tackled the topic of sports supplements. This isn't a new trend, as supplements have been used for years and centuries. Episodes 13, Wayne Goldsmith and the Essence of Coaching. Episode 14 was about the mental side, stress management. Progressive relaxation is a great way to start. Episode 15 featured Ernie Maglishow, an OG and author in Hall of Fame. He updated his ebook about propulsion. Get that book, read and reread it, study it. Episode 16 brought us back to coaching basics. What makes a truly great coach, and why it's not always about the X's and O's. Barry's travel in BC means taking a ferry. Reservations are needed. Episode 17, the innovation episode, looked at how ed tech is harmful. AI can empower adults for helping kids, but no social media devices in the pool. Episode 18 was about the moonshot grant proposal. The AI coaching wizard was revealed, and we made a rallying cry for youth sports access, making the case that swimming shouldn't be a luxury item. Then in episode 19, we took another big swing at preparing grassroots swimmers for LA28, because building Olympians starts way before the Olympic trials. Clinic time. Episode 20 was part 2 of a major expert panel post-Paris Olympics, asking what USA swimming needs to rethink heading toward LA. In episode 21 was part 3 of the Olympic performance panel, practical strategies and some hard truths shared by coaching legends. Episode 22 brought us into the struggles outside the pool, travel nightmares, sports as a violence prevention program, and how swimming is compulsory skill. And most recently, episode 23 was a heartfelt farewell from Bob Pratt, a true giant in water safety advocacy, plus reflections on how far we've come and where we need to go next. Also, Dr. G talked about developing the aerobic base for youngsters, especially in light of the 50-stroke events joining the Olympic swim program, plus a hat tip to another podcast, Unfiltered Waters. Every listen, every share, every conversation you spark because of something you heard here, it all means the world. Thanks for being part of this journey. Thanks for thinking deeply with us. Thanks for laughing with us. Thanks for making Heavy or Not grow into a community, not just a podcast. New episodes are coming soon. And trust me, we're just getting started. The next few are heavy with mental health for student athletes getting the spotlight. This goes beyond the swim pool so that youngsters who play any sport can benefit.
If you're new here or you missed an episode along the way, you can listen to all of them right now at our website, hon.lap.red, or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for swimming with me along this journey, and let's keep moving forward together. And until next time, stay curious, and remember, whether it's heavy or not, it's all worth carrying.